So here's the problem that we have. I got this beautiful African mahogany table that I built, and after about 14 years, you can see where it's warping, separating. The boards are starting to come loose. Those cutouts were for some beer coolers I had in there, and I'm taking these all off and I'm going to redo this. I had it bolted down with some plugs that I'm currently removing. But my plan is to take this completely apart, redo the boards, glue them up again, and hopefully have just as beautiful a table as we had in the first place. And as you can see, this is about 1.5 inches thick, maybe even bigger. So it's not going to be a light job. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to see if these bolts that have been in here forever will come out. I don't think my table was going to come off, but that's the size bolts we got. When I built this table, I needed an impact wrench and I didn't want to spend $200. And I bought this, as you can believe, for Harbor Freight. I don't normally buy anything from Harbor Freight that I don't plan to throw away after I'm done using. This thing has survived, like I say, about 10 plus years, still working fine, and I think it was $49. Got to throw a plug where a plug isn't due. Okay, now we are ready to make the first cut. Might get a little noisy. Okay, we're ready to cut the second piece. How easy that was. This is 2 inches thick and it goes through it like butter. Well, we're into this thing for about an hour and we're half done. Probably another hour I'll have this all disassembled, and then it'll be a matter of cleaning up the boards and putting it all back together. Okay, there's my beautiful African mahogany table cut up into pieces. Got my skeleton left over here. I think part of the problem was I put a piece of press board down as a so that's the base we built, me and my wife. As you can see, it has 1 foot lags holding 6x6 post or 4x6. You know, we had to get a car jack to jack it up and put dollies under each of the legs when we had the top on, just to be able to move it. And so there's the top. I got it all cut up, and now I'll be getting clean edges, and I'll use the dominoes, and we'll get this thing back together and refinish. So I've got one of the 3 boards I'm gluing up because there's 2 boards in each glue up, and got that one pretty straight, and the seam looks like it's going to be good. So 1 down and 2 more to go. Here are the 3 boards that I ended up gluing. They're all under 15 inches, and we're going to run them through the planer, and this will give us a good chance to check out the new Oneida Supercell in a real-time situation using the planer. And I've got a 15-inch planer, and we should get 0 dust with the new Oneida system. So here's the extra hose I have that I use when I'm doing my surface planing with the planer, and that will come over here into my other garage, and that hooks right in there where it says 15-inch planer. So it literally has a direct shot from the machine straight to the planer, and there should be 0 dust and or chips escaping. The 15-inch planer always seems to be the thing that you have the most trouble with on dust collection because it just produces so much. And we're using the Shop Fox W1742 planer, and we'll see how that comes out. So one of the problems I always found when you were planing the boards, the hose always got in the way. So my setup is I got the hose coming down, and so that it ain't lower, I don't want my wood hitting it, I just took a clamp, set it on the ground, zip tied the hose to it, and then I come out of the chute with a hard 90, and this way my board has free access to pass through underneath, and it makes it quite simple. As you can see from the previous video, planing these boards turned out to be way easier than I thought, but they are heavy and I'm sweating like a dog, but we're getting them done. After these are all planed, then we will be gluing up the 3 boards and start the finish end of the table. Okay, I got the dominoes in, got the first 2 boards done. Once that's dried, I will put the domino holes in these 2 pieces, bring them together, clamp them, and then I should have a pretty good flat top for my table. So I got all the boards glued up, and I made a template on the CNC machine so that I can enlarge these holes, and then I'll just do that with a pattern bit. But generally it's pretty flat. I've got to sand it, but very little sanding is going to be necessary. and it came out as good as I hoped. First thing I did was cut a board out that'll give me the distance I got to go from here to here, so that when I slide my template in and glue it down using masking tape and CA glue, it'll be the right distance in the center of the table. I have drawn a line around where I need to router out, and I'm going to take the jigsaw and cut out the excess wood so that I'm only routering about a 1/4 inch of wood. So the way I'm going to hold this down, my template, is the same way we hold wood down when we're CNCing and don't have room for clamps. You put tape on the template there, and I'll put tape here. And this is just plain old cheap masking tape. And I'm going to do that on both ends. Okay, so this is going to be lined up over here. And it's going to be lined up right on that spot right there. And that's going to give me a nice little 1/4 inch lip all the way around. So what I'll do now is I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of this. And this is just regular CA glue. And then I'm going to spray the accelerator on the other piece. Going to line this up with the mark I made. Push it up against that. Push it down. And that is going nowhere. So that's how we get it all set up. Now it's just a matter of running the bit around the edge, and we'll have another perfect spot for the beer coolers to sit in. Okay, now we're going to router that out, and we want to pull it around this way. So that got about halfway down, and I'm just going to extend this down a little further, because now it'll check off. Yep, that'll work. Being I've already cut some, the pattern bit can run around the piece I already just cut. Aside from being a lot messy, I can just pull this up now. Comes right off. Take my tape off. And now, for the proof in the pudding, perfect. So now we got our both holes cut for the beer cooler. Well, I just put my first coat of 50% Spar Varnish and 50% turpentine. Well, not actually turpentine, because you can't buy turpentine in California. So I had to use mineral spirits. So we'll see how that works out. From what I posted and was reading, the 50% lets it soak in a lot easier. Okay, I just put coat number 2 of the varnish. Did this one full strength. The first one I did 50-50. Okay, I just sanded it and wiped it down. And now I'm going to put the third coat on. I plan on putting about 7 or 8 coats, from what I understand, for a real well protected varnish. So here we go. So when it comes to painting, and I have to admit this, I am the world's worst painter, but I think this is going to come out with a couple more coats, and that's all we got for now. We'll have to let it dry, and then we'll put on a couple more. Yep, got about 4 coats on there so far. Got 5 more to go. Definitely coming out way better than I thought. So I think I've got the final coat on here. I just put it on. And the grain is showing up beautifully. That's the light from the garage window. But I think the table is reconnected. Now I just got to put it back on the platform, and we can call this a done deal. Well, we got the table completed. Got the beer cooler trays in there. We bolted it back down, but we used smaller bolts, so it does have the ability to move about 3/8 of an inch. So if it wants to expand and contract, hopefully that'll keep it from cracking anymore. But came out really nice. So if you liked the video, please subscribe and give us a like and hit that notification bell. Thank you.